People's Pavilion. Jerry Heater, Jeff Pond, and Chase Shaw are officials. We are underway. Georgia Tech basketball. Again, no Kwesi Reeves Jr., 15 points per game missing from the Georgia Tech starting lineup by Ndongo, their second leading scorer at 12 a game. And they started off with him in the post, battling, spinning. They could not get the roll. The rebound by A.J. Rahosi, Stanford's leading rebounder at 5 a game. Stanford starters led by Ebuka Okorie, second leading scorer in the ACC. Shooters with Gieler and Agarwal. Donovan Young has been in the lineup since the injury to Chizimakpara. Late shot clock. 5 seconds for Agarwal. He'll take a screen. He can really shoot it. He's got to get it up. Big rebound inside. That's Rahosi, and it was stripped by Jaden Mustaf. Some of the most active hands for Georgia Tech. He's on the run, and he's got our first bucket of the night.
That's good defense on one end and a good transition in the other. They got to the rim. Stanford's going to have to close the door. Damon Stoudemire's team will get to the basket. They one of the top 2-point attempt teams in the country. They'll shoot it from 2. They don't settle for 3s.
Stanford offense that scored 64 in a 2-point loss against number 20 Clemson on Wednesday night. Slower pace team in ACC play. You can see it. Late shot clock for Okorie. Gieler steps to his right and drills it.
Well, he'll do that. You let Benny Gieler alone. He'll knock down that shot. He's had game winners this year, so you got to get out to the 3-point line with him and beyond.
41% 3-point shooter for a team that shoots it at 34% upper half of the country. Here's Mustaf against Rahosi, and our first foul of the night against Rahosi.
Well, you can see Benny Gieler had a little hesitation. He was open the first look. I like the escape dribble. Keeps his eyes on the prize. If you're a shooter, eye the rim. Don't take your eyes off the prize, and he can knock shots down. If you're Georgia Tech now, and again, I go over this point that they're going to try to get in the paint. They really like to attack and not settle for 3s. They want to get to the basket.
Kick ball. Reeves, who they're missing tonight, at 38% from 3. They have all these guards, and Akai Fleming gets the start tonight for Georgia Tech. That just, to your point, they just love to get right downhill.
Well, they're old school in that respect, and coming from a coach that was a pretty good player, that was a great play defensively.
By Hilte, the run out.
Yeah, watch Hilte, Cooper. He's deceptive. He gets steals. He's been a guy coming off the bench with what he's done for minutes played. You've got to put him in the lineup, and Kyle Smith has rewarded him.
Came right off the bench in the first 2 minutes. And Ndongo into Hilte, and he muscled it home.
That's a man's play. I mean, Hilte's no small guy. He just shedded him and got the 2 in the paint.
Now Ebuka Okorie, top 10 scorer in the country, 1 in white. Second leading scorer in the ACC, behind only Cameron Boozer of Duke. He'll take one. The 3-point shooter, 31%. It's probably the only part of his game that needs a jump.
Well, he takes volume shots, a big reason why that percentage is not better.
Ndongo created space for 2. Back-to-back buckets for Bai and Ndongo.
You can see that he's a load. Stanford's going to have to do something, maybe put a second defender on him. He's tough one-on-one.
Donovan Young in the lineup for a 7th straight game since the injury to Akpara, and he scores.
Well, I like that. Donovan Young gives him some size and strength. He just bullied his way over the top, and that's not easy to do against these tough Georgia guards.
22 starts, over his first couple of years, the sophomore. Here's Ndongo off the screen, floated up. That's intercepted, Donovan Young. Corey just loves to dance. Here he comes, doubles there. He steps back anyway, and knocks it down.
Yeah, he danced and he dined and I mean, he just found a way to get the basket. He's so good with his dribble. You've got to keep him in front of you, but he can pull up.
You watch him tonight. He goes behind his back as Washington slipped, got up, and then a foul, probably a bailout from Benny Gieler.
Well, Stanford wants to maintain their aggressiveness, and you know, as a coach, I never minded teams picking up a couple fouls early, but you don't want to do them when the other team's not attacking. But you know, you got to establish yourself defensively and with an aggression. If you're going to play Georgia Tech, you have to play aggressively. You can't play passively.
I think there is some question for about the minutes right now. Dongo just exited. He'll take his first rest of the night. Cole Kerouac comes in. Where does the offense come from for Georgia Tech? Top 200 offensive team by efficiency in the country. Mustaf in, it was knocked away. Kerouac, the big 7-footer. He gets fouled. There's a third stamina foul.
Yeah, and I think that's what you have to do. It's by committee. If it's Kerouac, if it's inside, you got to get your guys. I mean, not playing, but you got to get the ball into some guys that can attack the basket. They don't have a lot of size. That's why they're bringing in some of the players they're bringing in. But you've got to get to the foul line. There's no way you can score.
Still no Mo Sila, still no Peyton Marshall. Two guys 6'10 plus. Akai Fleming off 19 the other night at Cal. Jump stop, couldn't hit, got his miss, went up and drew foul.
Well, there may be an answer to your question, Akai Fleming, for trying to get the two. We got a tight one in Palo Alto.
And for Cardinal, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets just underway alongside Ben Braun, Cooper Boardman, our great ESPN crew, and a nice start for a Georgia Tech team that came in having lost 4 in a row, 7 out of their last 8. They're injured, but here we are, 3-point game to start.
No, and they're not going to make alibis. That's Damon Stoudemire. That's kind of his MO. And you're missing 6'7", and you're missing 6-7 foot, and now you get the rest. Dongo at 6'9". You don't have a lot of options, so that's why I think you see Okorie getting in so quick, and if you're Georgia Tech, you have to continue to do this, get to the foul line.
They scored 85 on Wednesday against Cal. They can score. Damon Stoudemire, he's really, and it makes sense based on who he was and who his career has really represented. The guard play for Georgia Tech, you see the 48 paint points. So much of that has come on drives.
Yeah, and that's an incredible stat. I mean, Cal's got some big players as well. But to do that and to play Cal as tough as they did, Cal's got an awfully good team, Cooper, and for them to come back and take the lead in the second half, that's quite an accomplishment.
Especially on the West Coast. Davi Ramagin knocked that away. Kelly on his way in, left it off, and it leads to 2 underneath for Jaden Mustaf. That's 3 guards that combined for 2 points.
Well, and there's the pressure. What are you going to do? You talk about changing your format. The full court press yields a turnover and a score.
Look how small Georgia Tech is in this lineup. Okorie all the way across the way. Keep it moving. No good from Jeremy Dent-Smith, grad transfer out of Division II, Cal State Dominguez Hills. That's a pocket pick, and that's Okorie. Off to the races. He had it knocked away.
Well, he wanted the foul call there, but you just saw Ebuka Okorie and what he does. People forget about his defense. I mean, he's got long arms, about 6'8" arm span, and you cannot, I said this in shoot-around today, you cannot cross over in front of him. If you do, you're going the other direction. He's really good. He wanted the foul call, didn't get it, but he's really tough.
Takes us to a timeout. We're all tied up early here in the first half. Tied at 9, first half, Stanford and Georgia Tech. Referees are looking to see that last play with Ebuka Okorie, Jerry Heater, Jeff Pond, and Chase Shaw.
And yeah, that's a challenge. They have to determine if that was overwhelming evidence. And from this angle, Cooper, it looks like there was a lot of hand. They say the hand's part of the ball, but if you grab part of the wrist first, it looks like, let's take one more. It's good camera work by our crew, and there's the play, and the hand is underneath the ball. There was some contact. We'll see what happens. I think, let's see what they rule.
Get our explanation right here.
okay.
Great job from Chase Shaw there. So this is Stanford basketball. That was a Georgia Tech challenge. Damon Stoudemire just did something pretty bold 5 minutes into this game.
Yeah, well, you know what? You got to do some bold things when you're down a couple of players and you're trying to break a losing streak. But, you know, it's interesting. The challenges, I think, are good for the game. A lot of fans don't like it, but you want to get it right. You want to make sure the call gets going in the right direction.
And now, as Aiden Cameron takes a three and knocks it down. It's been his week.
Yeah, why not? I mean, that's all he's done in the last game and now into this game. He's been on fire. Career high the other night against Clemson, 19 points. He was phenomenal.
If you had woken up on Wednesday and said Aiden Cameron is going to go for 19 against the number 20 team in the country, I'm not sure anybody would have believed you, but he played that confident as that goes out of bounds. Will stay with Georgia Tech, and he shot that with confidence.
No, and we talked to him at shoot-around today. You were there, and I think the great telling sign was, look, he was in the zone, and he didn't think about it a lot. And so when you're playing, sometimes, you know, as smart as you are, you're at Stanford, you're going to be a thinker, but when you get on this basketball floor, you got to play, and you got to put a lot of thoughts, question marks out of your mind. You better be confident and play. He sure was.
Kid from Andover, Massachusetts, hit us with a Go Pats.
Oh, yeah.
In shoot-around today. Here's Cam Kraft. Couldn't hit. Cameron in there, and he got the rebound. So he's been in the game for 2 minutes. He's got 3 and 1.
Yeah, he'll be in this lineup for a while. I don't think Kyle Smith can afford to take him out too long.
Benny Keeler, step back, faked it. Shot clock at 10 for Jeremy Dent-Smith. He loves to drive, and he does, and he stepped it back. There was nobody there for that.
Yeah, tough when you make your decision to go to the basket downhill from the top. Your entry and outlet passes are in the corners or wing, and he tried to pitch it back. Everybody else was trying to flatten out. But Jeremy Dent-Smith's a good player. They're going to need his aggression. This game, he can turn things around. He's had huge games for the Stanford Cardinals team this year.
His last action for the moment, Ebuka Okorie checks back in after a 2-minute respite. Remagen, the German, up top for Kraft. He steps inside, he jump stops, and couldn't finish again. 3-point shooters missed 2 inside. This is Okorie, 1-on-3. It did not make it.
Oh. Was that with his left hand and the contact and the harm? I mean, you think he's not tough in transition? There's the split. I know there's a Super Bowl coming up. the back through, there it is, splits the defenders, gets fouled, and just kisses it high off the glass with his left hand. Might use his left better than his right, and puts the ball in the basket. Chance for 3-point play.
Fastest kid in his class from really the moment he started running. He was a middle school track star. And you can believe it when you watch him do what he just did to give Stanford their largest lead early by 6.
Yeah, he's special, and when he plays well, Stanford does well.
Mustaf, he's got a couple of buckets, fed it down, and Dongo couldn't grab it. Cameron got a hand. Okorie, open floor, on the spin. Got his miss, fired it off of Georgia Tech. It keeps possession. Ebuka Okorie, everyone.
That's a big-time heads-up play to keep the ball alive. He was spinning to the basket. I think he had Benny Keeler in the corner, and he usually finds his shooters, but he said, you know what, I got it going tonight, and he took it to the basket. Couldn't complete the play, but Stanford playing awfully well early.
Cameron tracks it down. Watch him versus Ndongo in the post. Now feed it in for Donovan Young. He dropped it. He picks it up. He has no dribble. And now Okorie checked the timer. He gets inside, and he scores.
With his left. Again, no problem. Most players are not as comfortable going with their offhand. Not Ebuka Okorie.
8-0 run in 2 minutes. 4 Stanford steals, nearly a 5th. Instead, Ndongo. Akai Fleming on the drive. In traffic, he bumped. Nice finish, Akai Fleming.
Big time shot by Akai Fleming. He can do that. Freshman, really a good-looking player for Damon Stoudemire. They're going to need him to step up.
Top 100 recruit, 4-star guys, really starting to look like it over the last couple of weeks.
Look very confident in that last play.
Cameron floated in for Young. Donovan Young, smaller man on him. This could not hit. Ndongo's got a rebound. 8 boards a game for Ndongo. Coast to coast. Goodbye.
Now, Kyle Smith's not happy about the parting of the Red Sea on that one. Nobody at home. I mean, that's not the guy you want to. I know he's big and strong, but you got to get somebody in there, give him some interference.
He looked up like, what? No one there. Cabot, fly by. Oh, he couldn't put it down. Young sticks it back.
I like the aggressiveness for Aiden Cameron. He might not have made that basket, thought he got fouled, but how about Donovan Young on the putback?
Giving them some nice minutes early. Donovan Young, guy who didn't play very much early in the year. Fleming tried to twist that in. He was fouled.
Payne, if you didn't guard him at the 3, he would knock down threes, shooting a high percentage. And, you know, he was a guy that can go up and get some rebounds. He was an experienced player. So you're losing all of that, and they have not been the same team without him as you would expect. But they've got some other guys that can step up, and we'll talk more about that later. But it puts a challenge on them.
Off the free throw. Here's a Georgia Tech pressure. David Stoudemire's team will do this.
Well, I like that. I like that Coach Stoudemire is trying to pick up the pace and put some pressure on Stanford. Be aggressive.
Cameron Grant checks in. Didn't play on Wednesday night against Clemson. Agarwal refeed the post. Oscar Hielte thought he had a window. Instead, back out for Agarwal, who drives. Shot clock at 5. It's still Agarwal. Got to get it up, and he went up and down, traveled for a turnover.
Yeah, I think, you know, that's not his game, really getting to the paint and posting up, but he had opportunities to go up, maybe get a foul call. But, you know, he's a guy that usually gets shots and open looks. Hielte, very unselfish, you know, had an opportunity to take his man one-on-one with no help. If you're a post guy, you got to try to get inside and make something happen, prove that you need to get a double team, maybe score a basket if you can. But Stanford is trying to look inside.
Cam Kraft, I mean, he's really the 4 right now. He's 6'6", the second tallest player on the floor for the Yellow Jackets. Remagen, nice finish over the top of Cameron Grant.
Well, they're going to get that with their guard play. They're going to be able to take bigger players and kind of step them back and get some looks. They just have to be able to knock them down.
So they're taking advantage. Little against big on that end. On this end, Okorie couldn't hit. Now you got big Little on the Stanford offense.
Yeah, no, it's just, you know, it's the way you're choosing to play.
Kraft, great shooter. Exhibit A.
You said it, and he backed you up, Cooper. I mean, good shooter, absolutely. He knocked that shot down as you announced it. Must have heard you.
7-0 Georgia Tech run after an 8-0 Stanford run earlier in the first half.
Well, he's not exactly unguarded either, but, you know, here it is, the kick out. He's big hand up. You got a 7-foot arm span going over the top. But that shows you if you're a shooter, you can't worry about the challenge shots. You know, you want to get challenge shots, but you have to have your eyes on the rim and get some arc. He puts tremendous arc on that ball.
Remagen was called for the foul, so he's got 2. He's out. Jaden Mustaf comes back into the game. Young to Nova.
Yeah, well, right idea, but when you're feeding the ball from the top, you've got to make sure the post player doesn't have a defensive post player doesn't have a hand or foot across. Not much of an angle there, a tough angle to feed.
Dent-Smith back in. Jalen Thompson gets his first minutes of the night, 24 in white, defending right now. And Ndongo, he's doubled, spits it across. Here's Kraft, got a smaller man on him. Instead, Lamar Washington downhill, blocked. Donovan Young, and he's the first man to it, and draws a foul on Ndongo.
Well, how about this series and this sequence we're looking at? Donovan Young, I mean, comes all the way over, times the block, and then gets the loose ball. I mean, keeps it alive and draws the foul. He's been active. You know, he's starting to get his feet wet. He hadn't played, missed a lot of the opening part of the season with injury. Now he's starting to get some significant minutes.
And they need it with the injury to Okpara.
No question.
Dent-Smith, pocket pass, Rosen!
Yeah, good look by Jeremy Dent-Smith. You called it, pocket pass off the dribble. Steve Nash, dribble it and let it go right off the dribble. Love that play.
Stanford led pretty big. Georgia Tech took the lead. Now 1-point game, Stanford back on top. And Dongo intercepted again. Ebuka Okorie fits Stanford steal, and then the favor return by Washington.
And Georgia Tech's not going to stand for that long.
Mustaf, clear out everybody.
You think Georgia Tech's not afraid to attack the basket? That's the second flush of the last couple of possessions. They're aggressive. They do attack the paint.
Pretty good 11 minutes of college basketball. Deep one. Dent-Smith off the mark, and Lamar Washington, very good rebounding guard, pulled that down with one arm.
Now Georgia Tech can really defensive rebound.
Washington couldn't finish over top of Rahosi. Ebuka Okorie, 3 rebounds a game in his game, pulls it down. 7 early points for the ACC's second leading scorer, Ebuka Okorie. He's got it here, and he's got space to work with. Got to switch on Washington. Deep one. Not for him.
And he knew that was in. When the ball left his hands, he started backpedaling. He knew that was in. That's the confidence with which that young man plays.
First man to 10 points. 3 for 7 start from 3 for Stanford. And how about Georgia Tech? Good 3-point shooting team, 36%, top 60 in the country. They've only taken 1. As Kraft misses on the ground, anybody can get there. It's Washington who blew the layup. And now Okorie, he's 1-on-2. That's usually enough. On his way, it was!
You know what sleight of hand is? I know there's a guy named Houdini, but I don't know. Doesn't get much better off of the win. So got to admire his ability to want to take big shots and put the ball in his hands. Cal Smith elected not to call timeout, which I don't think in the end might have been a good move, because otherwise you call timeout, he might not get that last shot. So Cal Smith's been around the block. I mean, he's been a tremendous coach of the year in the Pac-12, Washington State. Obviously done a great job. USF now here at Stanford in the short time he's been here.
He's watched a 6-0 Stanford run to give them a 5-point lead. Georgia Tech, 36% 3-point shooting team, has taken just 1 3 so far. They've done just this again and again. Mustaf spins it in.
I don't know how he got to the rim against Jalen Thompson. I mean, Jalen Thompson was all over him, and he just used his body. It's funny, an offensive player turns his body, you got to move.
Okorie, boy, he just wants to shoot tonight. Muscled that up, it was taken away. Probably his first bad shot of the night, bad in air quotes. Washington, that strip by Dent-Smith. That's his 6th Stanford steal of the night. Wow. How about the reach out there on the other end from Chaz Kelly III. Now it's Mustaf, wants to go right, and it's blocked into a wedgie.
That's a jump ball, and we're going the other way. You know, how do you get by? You've got to be able to attack, and when you attack, watch this move. It's the hesitation and the spin. I mean, 2 great moves in the same possession. Add a reverse layup to finish the deal.
Stanford's scout about him was all about the right hand. Well, he went to the left side of the rim with his right hand there.
Yeah, he still got what he wanted and went to his strong hand. A tremendous move.
Jalen Thompson forced it in, getting 4 minutes since the Okorie injury. That's his 7th and 8th point of the year.
Yeah, but he's looking more comfortable on the floor. He's not afraid to take the ball to the basket and make something happen.
6 of those 8 points have come since that injury to Okpara. Mustaf waiting, jumped it out. It's a lot of space for Kraft, but he traveled before he hit the 3.
Well, he wanted to get to the open spot, needed the dribble, and didn't put it down. Good call by the officials. If you're Georgia Tech now, you got to get back to getting some stops. They've got some good possessions defensively, but they're going to keep some pressure on here. I mean, if you're playing against Okorie, it's interesting to hear Damon Stoudemire talk to us about it today. He said, look, he's going to get a shot. I mean, he's going to get a shot, so he's going to get points. You just want to make sure he doesn't have monster game and try to limit the touches and chances he gets, and keep him off the line. But big task, because easier said than done.
And it's 13 points for Okorie on 5 of 10 shooting so far. Right back to him.
Well, he's going to get his points. And his point was, you know, he gets his. You got to keep the other guys down.
Here's Okorie again, 1-on-1, dancing, jumping. Gieler steps, takes a 3, and knocks it down.
Now, Benny Gieler is just lethal from three. I mean, he's now got the ability to give you the shot fake. You got to honor it. You go for it. He gets the side escape dribble and three. Good play by Benny Gieler.
He's hit 2 off of that. Stanford by 8. Kelly created some space, keep it moving, an open 3. That's no good from Eric Chatfield, the freshman from Atlanta, who's up late a lot for Georgia Tech. Okorie, quick trigger, knocks another one down. Starting to look like one of those nights.
But what you see is what you're getting from Ebuka Okorie. I mean, there's so many ways that he can give it to you, and he's going to get his points. Damon Stoudemire was right on. You're not going to keep him down for long. He's had 1 or 2 bad or off nights this year, not many.
He has 16, so much of that 14-2 run, and Dongo couldn't hit. Healte had the defense and the rebound. Bigs for Stanford and held up so far against Ndongo. Okorie! He looks surprised he missed.
Well, that's a heat check, but he's earned that.
Chatfield got out of there. Georgia Tech needs one. Largest Stanford lead. Mustaf. Washington. They're 2 for 2 from 3.
Yeah, much needed shot by Georgia Tech. They needed that desperately. Now you're getting ready to go under the 4-minute TV timeout, but you gotta, if you're Stanford, get good shots. You know this Georgia Tech team is not going away. They climbed all the way back against Cal, 14 down, to take the lead in the second half.
Got an off-ball whistle and a foul against Georgia Tech.
You know, it's interesting, Cooper, and you look at Corey's stats, and he's only 31 from 3, but you know, he's had a couple bad games, and one of them against Cal, his arch rival, 0 for 9 and 1 for 16. That just doesn't happen very often. They did a nice job on him, but when you have to take the volume of your shots from 3 to help your team try to come back, your percentages go down, but you can throw those percentages out if you're playing against Okorie.
Agarwal couldn't hit. Gieler got the rebound, tapped it out. As Benny Gieler at 6'1" who got there. He's open for 3. He made that happen.
Now he looked it off. He looked his defender off. And I've seen him play enough. I knew he was shooting it. It's tough. You give him a look from 3, he's going to drop it. He's going to give it up.
Kid who had 1 D1 offer out of high school, UC Riverside, walked on here.
Nice look.
Good finish on the other end from Eric Chatfield. Just his 11th game of the season, freshman from Atlanta.
The question is, can Stanford get some other guys like Benny Gieler going, and Ryan Agarwal, Jeremy Dent-Smith? They've got to get some guys that can shoot it. And this has been a way to go and score, too, is to get it in Donovan's hand.
Gieler was short. Lamar Washington hit ahead to Chatfield. He scores.
Yeah, that was a tough play in transition. I think Benny Gieler made a decision to go for the ball and probably thought twice about it. Decided he wasn't going to get it. It was too late.
Back-to-back bucket, 7-point game.
Yeah, Georgia Tech, and they'll do this to you.
Okorie dancing. Foul on the rebounding action against, I think, Ndongo. We'll check it. If it is, it's his second. Stanford by 7.
Doesn't have a monster night.
He's done 4 or 5 things. You saw it on the highlight as Gieler misses a 3. Boy, he was in there on the rebounding action. Now it's Chatfield transition. Lamar Washington. Georgia Tech keeps punching back.
Well, that shouldn't happen. Kyle Smith's not happy about it. I know that you take a 3 and they come back and get the defensive rebound and come back on you. But Georgia Tech's a tremendous defensive rebounding team, so you got to know they're going to go up and climb the glass, and they're really good at converting on the offensive end from defense.
Rahosi needs some help. He does get out of there. Stanford content to go down under 10. Some of the slowest possessions in the league. Gieler, 4 seconds. Agarwal, got to get it up.
That's great defense by Georgia Tech. I mean, they've made it difficult now. And as I mentioned, if you do get a shot against them, they're not going to give you too many offensive rebounds. Stanford got a couple early, but not many late. They're just very stingy with giving up offensive rebounds. Now Stanford's going to a zone now, trying to pack it in a little bit on this team for good reason.
Georgia Tech's only taken 2 threes in the game. Find the man in the middle, Mustaf. Tough step back. He could not hit. And Ndongo was fouled by Agarwal in the rebounding action.
Yeah, good decision by Cal Smith down the stretch here. If you can try to collapse your defense, keep your bigs at home, and make this Georgia Tech team hit some outside shots, make them knock down some threes. And he've only taken 3 threes.
Akai Fleming can knock it down, coming off 19 in the 5-point loss at Cal on Wednesday, and they hit another. They haven't shot a lot, but they made them.
Now, and he had a little something to say to the Stanford bench, like, you want to stay in that zone, you're going to get more of this. You got to like the competitiveness. You know, people think that's trash talk, and that's just confidence and a confidence in your ability and you know, fight.
Jackets have lost 4 in a row. Stanford's lost 5 in a row. And you got the sense talking to both sides. They are sick and tired of it. In the corner, that's a three. Donovan Young joins the party.
Yeah, he does that. He really gives you a lift because you know he's tough to the basket.
Washington got fouled by Gieler.
Yeah, you see Georgia Tech's approach down the stretch here. They're going to try to attack you on man-to-man coverage. Man zone doesn't make any difference. If you've got one on the ball, they're going to get into the gaps and try to go by you, and you're going to have to defend. If you're a defender, to depend on your help side defenders to step in the gap. Very quick team to defend, and they're right now doing a good job as Georgia Tech and Damon Sotomayor of getting now to the foul line.
1-and-1 for Lamar Washington, 75% shooter. Folks, coming up next, we'll get you to Provo at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on ESPN. The night capped off by number 8 Houston and number 16 BYU. Game that'll be. Back end didn't go. Agarwal the rebound. Final minute of a first half that has seen 7 lead changes between Stanford and Georgia Tech, and mostly Ebuka Okorie, who just drew foul.
Oh, that's what he does. I mean, he shows you his body. He's not afraid of contact. And very seldom is he just going to put the ball in front of you, but he uses his body to shield, and he can draw fouls. If you're playing against him, you've got to make him go over the top of you and try to finish. Easier said than done, but he's so adept at getting to the foul line. He's done this all season long.
He's made both so far tonight. 82% free throw shooter, sitting on 16 first half points. He's got the front end. First place in the SEC, by the way, on the line. ABC Sunday women's basketball matchup. Joyce Edwards and third-ranked South Carolina against number 19 Tennessee. Coverage on ABC begins at 3 Eastern tomorrow.
He's one of the top freshman scorers of all time here. Casey Jacobson, who I coached against, was awfully good, and he's knocking down his record if he hasn't already just put it, you know, in the record books. But that was a nice inside play.
And Dongo, 2 bites at it, couldn't go. Trying to get a third down at Chatfield to get the job done.
And Dongo's kind of grinning like, how did I miss those? I had 2 3-point point-blank layups or dunks. Little guy picks up the slack.
Probably perfect guy in the middle of that zone at Dongo. Shot clock off 20 seconds.
You know the ball's going to be in Ebuka Okorie's hands, and you've got Georgia Tech showing you zone. That's not a bad move now to see if they can try to close the gaps and make somebody else pay.
Okorie had to jump it down. What a pass! Young couldn't finish. 1 second. Hilte at the buzzer block to do it. And end one heck of a first half at Maples Pavilion.
Yeah, great finish.
And Wednesday, Georgia Tech battled back from down big to get back into that game. Stanford had a shot at the buzzer to win it. Both have had to sit with the taste of frustration over the last 4 days.
Yeah, as a coach and as a player, you don't like that. The best thing you can do is play as soon as possible.
Jaden Mustaf had 8 points. He was the joint leading scorer with Akai Fleming for Georgia Tech. And you see, and Dongo down low for Fleming.
That was a play coming out of halftime and executed perfectly. I mean, just a backside screen on a post-up, that's something you don't see a lot, and they got a layup.
Put it in the post with your best player available, and then Fleming's the first man to 10 points for Georgia Tech. Ebuka Okorie, 18 points in the first half for the freshman. Floated down for AJ Rahosi. In the post, it's Rahosi going at Ndongo, and he scores.
He's a skilled post guy. I mean, the only hole in his game is his free throw shooting.
Other end, Rahosi fouls.
All right, let's look at that play, that opening play coming out. I mean, the post-up takes place, and then you're trying to watch the guy that's posting up. But what happens is you lose sight of the backside guys. You play one pass away, but they gave up a backside screen and a cut to the basket. Now, if you're Stanford, you got to correct something in a hurry. They've given up some transition baskets, here, and that's hurt them. There's no way that you should score on one end and get beat coming back in the other. I know Kyle Smith's talking, the staff talking to his players about it. Kyle's not happy about it. You can see he's got his head down and he wants it to be tougher. You can't depend on your free throw defense, Cooper, to stop.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. The students just got free Shake Shack.
Yeah, well, they're here, and that's a good way to get them in the house. They're active, but Rahosi's pretty tough on the block.
Against Ndongo, he's gone back-to-back. Ndongo has 2 fouls, and you can see there's a little bit of give and take there.
Well, it's smart. Smart on Stanford's behalf to go and isolate.
Mustaf had it blocked. Out of bounds, stays with Tech.
But that's by design. You're saying, okay, we're going to go at your best player, see if we can pick up a third. And Rahosi's really agile with his feet. Great footwork, but here you can see the blocks. I mean, you've got a couple of guys here. Two players blocked that shot.
Back door, Kraft. Oh, man, that's our second wedgie of the night.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but if you get the ball high off the glass, that's not supposed to happen. But that ball was blocked off the glass. And what a great backdoor cut. If you're a shooter, the best thing you can do when you're getting pressured, back cut. And he did. I thought Kraft did a great job of isolating and back cutting to the rim for 2 shots.
ABC NBA Sunday Showcase doubleheader. Jaylen Brown of the Celtics hosting Jalen Brunson and the Knicks. Good Eastern Conference matchup. That's 12:30. Then Kawhi and the Clippers in Minnesota against Ant Edwards and the T-Wolves on ESPN at 3 p.m. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at noon Eastern.
Boston Celtics, that's Jaylen Brown, Cal alum.
And Damon Stoudemire's on that staff for a few
Absolutely.
years.
He coached one of my former players on the Celtics.
AJ Rahosi, 3 straight possessions. This matchup spinning, 3 straight scores.
Well, that's just really smart basketball. Give Kyle Smith credit. I mean, he's isolated Ndongo for good reason because he cannot afford, ill afford to pick up a foul or a series of fouls.
One of really 2 tall guys remaining on the Georgia Tech bench. And Ndongo threw it away.
Well, he had a chance to go up and return the favor. But, look at Rahosi, what he's done. AJ Rahosi, a local product here, Division II player, by the way, Division III. And look what he's done. He's gotten the ball to the basket. They've called his number. Really good post player. His footwork is excellent. And their team has done a good job. Just when you think it's about Okorie, they've changed gears and they've gone inside to the big fella.
Former walk-on at Washington State under Kyle Smith.
Yeah, he was smart to bring him here.
Right back to him. 4th straight possession. Double was a little late. He got it out. And set a 3 that Ugerwal couldn't hit. It's a rebound inside for Lamar Washington. Georgia Tech on the run. Washington cross. Boy, hit the floor very hard, and he stays down. Extra man for Stanford right now as Washington gets up slowly. It leads to a 3. Dent-Smith.
Now, Jeremy Dent-Smith's not going to miss that shot. You give him that open look. He's had games where he's been on fire from 3. Stanford going to the 2-3, and Damon Stoudemire, really smart timeout. Hey, Rahosi, if he's got one kryptonite, though, it's his free throw shooting. He's struggled from the line. Don't be surprised to see Damon Stoudemire and Georgia Tech foul now.
Saw Lamar Washington take a hard fall before the break. He's in. Cam Kraft miss. There's a rebound underneath for Stanford. Cole Kerouac is in the game, and he's trying to track down Rahosi. Kraft got the job done.
Well, instead of laying it up, he wanted to get the dunk, and that probably cost him the 2, but can't blame him. He wanted to make a shot emphatically.
Akai Fleming. There's a Rahosi rebound.
Well, he made up for it there and got the big rebound, but if you're Georgia Tech, you're going to try it again, get down low if you can, and get it out of his hands.
Okorie split the world.
You can't forget about him for long. He's been quiet, but as I said, he's not a selfish player, but when he sees an opening, he'll play. Here's the 2-3 zone, the matchup zone that Kyle Smith will employ for Stanford.
Passes come here to Mustaf. Tough shot. That's an Okorie rebound. He was Stanford's leading rebounder the first half. He's coast to coast. There's a Lamar Washington rebound for Georgia Tech. 9-point game. Fleming taken away by Okorie. 8 Stanford steal. Leads to 2.
Well, how about the steal by Okorie? I mean, we talked about it. His ability to get in the passing lane, the dribbling is lethal on the dribble.
He's got 22. Largest Stanford lead. 13-point game. Fleming in double figures already. On the spin. Shot clock late. Got to get it up. Mustaf didn't get close.
Well, that's good defense by Stanford, but Ebuka Okorie, he got something going on. I've served on committees with him. He's innovative. I mean, a tremendous AD. Mike was here when Mike Montgomery was here. He had some awful successful teams, much to my chagrin, I might add. But just a really, really good person. But I mean, great AD, but even a better person.
Yes,
now his daughter works at Stanford.
It was strangely friendly between you.
No, we've always had a great relationship. I didn't like playing his teams, but he was always supportive of me and my teams as well. But he was an advocate for the league, the Pac-12 for years. He was so much a part of that success of that league. Always innovative, and you know, he's what an athletic director should be. He supports his coaches, and he's done so much. You hear Damon Stoudemire talk about Ted Leland. He loves Ted. Realizes he not only got him a job at Pacific, hired him there, but he was instrumental in helping him to get to Georgia Tech as well.
You'd have to think he's enjoying the game tonight. 7 lead changes between the two teams.
Well, they better keep inviting Ted back with these results.
Dent-Smith, 3 seconds, gets it up. Rebound to Chaz Kelly III. Does not yet have a point for Georgia Tech. They've scored just 4 at the start of the second half. Stanford scored 13 to open up their biggest lead of the night. Eric Chatfield gave him great minutes, 2 in blue in the first half. It's Kelly, still with that 0. Pass was affected. Comes to Chatfield, kick it out, wide open 3. Fleming, got it.
Yeah, he's been a really tough player for Georgia Tech. He stepped up huge. I mean, just a freshman. He's going to have a great career.
Then a turnover and a foul. Kamen ends up on top of Remagen.
Kyle Smith not happy about that turn of events. You can't relax against Georgia Tech. And again, I go back to the Cal game, just their very last game. You thought that game was away, and they came all the way back. Had a chance to win maybe in parts of the second half when they took the lead. Then Cal had to put them away. But they're going to fight. And so you don't want to make it easy for Georgia Tech. You got to continue to play at the pace you've played at. Stanford's played well, but you got to continue to play well. Georgia Tech will not go away. You know, we talked about Damon Stoudemire, why he's been successful, and you know, he thinks the game a little differently than most coaches. Cooper, he's got a real interesting way of analyzing the game. He comes up with things that really you don't think about. And I've coached a long time, but when he was with me at Rice, he had a way to read players. He had a way to read the opponents. And, you know, he's had such a successful run. He was at Arizona, a tremendous player there, just an all-star. Got drafted NBA, successful NBA career, but he's also a player's coach. He'll get in his players, but he also understands the psychology of today's players.
You look around at this roster, and he was such a great guard. The way his guards play. Okorie got it out. Dent-Smith. Thompson fighting for the rebound, and Dongo just took it.
Whew. That's a man's play. Yeah, so Damon Stoudemire's, you know, his players will mirror him a lot of their toughness.
Post battle down there between Dongo and Thompson. Remagen, pocket pass, and Dongo had it affected, got it back. And drew a foul on Thompson.
That's his second missed dunk. I think he thought it would be a little easier than it was. But, you know, Stanford's battling. They got some big guys in there. Aiden Kammen's, you know, 6'10". He's not going to let you just put it over the top of him. But you see what Georgia Tech's trying to do. They're going to try to get to the line, shorten the game up a little bit, maybe stop the clock and just inch back in this game. And they're capable. So if you're Stanford, you know, buyer beware. This game's a long way from over.
Coming up, ESPN, 10:30 Eastern, Provo, Utah, 7:30 Pacific. Night capped off by number 8 Houston and number 16 BYU.
Hey, Cooper, I got to give a shout out to Bobby Cremins. I hope he's watching this game. I go way back with Bobby Cremins, and one of the great all-time great coaches, but one of the great all-time guys. And he still shows his way here and there. Talked to longtime radio guys here today, and Bobby's, you know, got his name on the floor, so he's special. One of the all-time greats.
Just out of curiosity, is there a coach that you don't know?
No. I doubt it.
If you do, it's his problem.
Yeah, well, no, it means I've been around for a while, but I'm fortunate to have been friends with a lot of coaches through the years. It's a fraternity.
Alongside Ben Braun, Cooper Boardman. Stanford basketball, 7-point lead. Ebuka Okorie dancing, 1, 2, 3, had it knocked away. It's Fleming on the run out, Remagen, had it blocked. That'll stay with Georgia Tech.
Well, Stanford very fortunate. Let me tell you this, they get the basket, that's 51, and maybe a chance for a three-point play, that's 52. They've just nailed this almost to a one-possession game. Again, they're not going away. There was good hustle by Stanford getting back in transition.
Akai Fleming's given them some great minutes these last 2 games in the West Coast trip. David Remagen fired that down right to Garolack, and they got away with one.
Well, you know, it looked like a travel. I'm not sure if it was, but it sure looked like one.
8-0 run. Okorie left alone. Bad idea.
I don't understand, because Okorie finds a way to hurt you in every way he can. And, I mean, a lot of people say that's not a great shot. You launch from 3, you're trying to protect your lead, but when you're Ebuka Okorie, you get a couple of luxury freebies. You're allowed to take that shot.
He's got 25. He hasn't missed in the second half. It's Fleming, step back. That's a really tough shot, and he got the roll.
Well, you see that Georgia Tech's unfazed. Ebuka Okorie hits the 3, but they're not coming back and going anywhere. So, again, Stanford, the onus of them, they got to maintain.
Okorie back on the run, nearly carried it, and then had it taken foul. Chaz Kelly III. He was trying to pull what he wanted to say out of his mouth and just put it away.
Yeah, he said, yeah, that was a great, I love that. There is a ball. I don't know about that one. Ebuka sold it, but he may have a point there. And I think, you know, you can't go back and challenge fouls. If you could, you would challenge that one. But I love the demeanor, like, you know, ref, you can put your whistle in your pocket. You don't need to blow it right there.
It's the first foul against Georgia Tech in the second half, too.
Georgia Tech showing you some zone now. They're going to change things up a little bit against Stanford. There's the zone.
Dent-Smith attacking it with the dribble. Foul. Rahosi undercut underneath. We got a game at Maples, 59-53, second half. Game with 12 to go.
Well, they've got a great coaching staff at Georgia Tech, and they're going to figure some things out. They just fight, but they've got guys that have coached on national championship teams, been head coaches in the ACC, or the Atlantic 10.
Okorie!
Wow!
Wow! Man!
You know, you can scout all you want, Cooper, but that's just a one-on-one. He knew enough that a guy's on his hip. Anytime a defender's on your hip, you're clever enough to draw that foul. And that's, I mean, this is a 2-possession game. You put the ball in Okorie's hands, he now has a chance to separate as he did.
Kid who shows up, doesn't say a word, just walks in the gym, makes quiet play after quiet play, has 28 points.
Yeah, he's gone for 30 a couple of times this year. He'll probably get there again. But here's Stanford going back to their 2-3 zone, making Georgia Tech attack and score it.
And Fleming did that.
Yeah, Fleming's a guy right now. he's finding opportunities.
He's got 17.
Yeah, he's had a great game. They're going to need him down the stretch.
3 off of his career high of 20 for the freshman from Marietta, Georgia. A.J. Rahosi in the post. Okorie, baseline, had to flip it out, and he did. The Dent-Smith got it done.
That's the danger of Ebuka Okorie. He finds his teammates, and he found Jeremy Dent-Smith for yet another 3.
Stanford needed 2 buckets. Okorie makes them both happen.
That's right.
Fleming doubled fast this time, and Okorie nearly had another steal. Instead, rebound into the corner. Chatfield. Dent-Smith got away from everybody and finishes.
He's putting together quite a game right now. The 3 he just hit, the breakaway 2. Stanford trying to separate here. Big turnaround, big run by Stanford.
Fleming and Dongo. Wow, that vaulted up in the air, down to earth, and Fleming saved it. He's on the sideline. Got a foul against Dent-Smith. I can't believe there was basketball court left over there.
Not much. I thought they were going to call a timeout. It wasn't. But, wow.
It's also the 3rd foul on A.J. Rahosi. Rahosi and Aiden Kamen, really the 2 main bigs for Stanford, both with 3 fouls. Kamen's coming back into the game as Rahosi sits.
Well, you'd think Stanford's in good shape because they've built a double-digit lead, but now you've got a little foul trouble in play, and you've got a Georgia Tech team that's capable of coming back. So you're still going to have to finish this game if you're Stanford.
Fleming, boy, he is a microwave.
No, and you know, he shoots it like microwave, like Vinnie Johnson. It's funny you said that. That was a line drive, and just when you think there's no trajectory, it's a line drive into the net.
He's gone for 19 now in back-to-back games.
Well, it's a 10-point game now.
Okorie, down low. Kamen lost it on the way up, and that's a foul.
And Aiden Kamen's pointing to the rim. It's like, I'm going up. I wasn't passing it.
You said to Aiden the other day, about the other day, like, you weren't thinking, huh? He goes, yeah, I wasn't thinking. I was just playing.
And, you know, it's so interesting with players, Cooper, that, and he's one of them, too, that you know, he's such a bright kid, and he understands the game, and he's a Stanford student. But, you know, it's funny, when you're in the zone, sometimes you're not. You're letting your instincts and your aggression take over, and he was aggressive. He had the game of his career. He helped put his team in a position to beat Clemson. And by the way, Clemson's an awfully good basketball team, but they had them beat. If Ebuka Okorie hits that last shot, they walk out of here with a win. 19 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and he's averaging 5 points this year. So, yes, he was in his zone, and you know, he's much like Maxime Reynaud that played on this team, who made a big jump between the sophomore and junior year. This young man's capable as well, maybe not to that level, but he's capable of getting better. He has a high ceiling.
Takes the lead back to 12 for Stanford. Akai Fleming has scored the last 6 points for Georgia Tech. Jaden Mustaf. Cam Kraft. Mustaf, nice spin, got to the hoop and couldn't finish. That's the tip in from Ndongo.
That's what you get for attacking the basket. The help side comes and you don't clean up the backside block out. Good offensive rebound.
Okorie going to the line.
Well, Georgia Tech's a little frustrated because they're allowing Okorie to get to the free throw line. But if you're guarding him one-on-one with no help, and he's quick at isolating, he gets to the basket before the help can come, it makes it tough. Stoudemire really respects this young man, but you know, gave him his ultimate compliment. Says, I don't care what we do, you know, he's going to get some points. We just got to make sure the other guys don't get big games, and he doesn't have an extraordinary day, but you know, he's done this a number of times, so he's going to get points. Can they get other guys stops? But Damon also is playing without 2 of his top big guys. Kyle Smith's, I got to be pleased now, but he knows his team's got to close the door here. This game's a long way from over. You know,
29.
Yeah, and how do you? Yeah, and if you look at how he's done, Cooper, there's a lot of good freshmen in the country. Look at the company he's keeping. By the way, you're talking about Demansa and Boozer, the top two of the three freshmen, and he's right there with them step for step.
He has 30 points tonight, Ebuka Okorie. Stanford by 12. Dongo. Tempo slowed considerably for Tech. Mustaf couldn't get there. Hilte only needed one arm.
Yeah, nice defensive rebound by Hilte. He's got some pretty good stats for minutes played. He's a good rebounder, 5 a game.
Okorie, Agarwal. Akai Fleming's really been the only offense for Georgia Tech in the last 5 minutes. Passed it nicely to Washington, led him to that. Got it back, that hit the hand of Hilte. And Dongo for 2.
Nice hands, lost control of the ball, picked it up quickly and got it off the glass. And again, here's Georgia Tech just kind of hanging around. I mean, they're right in this game still.
Problem is Stanford in the second half, 59% from the field.
Yeah, they're showing you what they can do. They're coming off of one of the better games they played, but didn't come away with the win against Clemson.
Okorie with 2 around him, trying to rip a pass down. He got a bounce. Hilte outside. Kamen left alone. With a fake set that up, thought he was going to hit it. Washington has the rebound. Mustaf behind the back. 1-on-2 into Kamen. He missed it. And now the run for Stanford. Ryan Agarwal leaves it off. Dent-Smith. Back to the corner. Agarwal hesitated. Takes it in. Ryan Agarwal gets the roll.
Well, that's what he can do. You know, he's not a post-up guy, but if you take away his 3, which a lot of teams do, he will, at his size, get in the paint and go over the top of you.
Dongo twists it in.
Well, I like the high-low. Great attack by Georgia Tech. High post entry against the zone. The big guy comes up to guard. You duck and you're big on the block. That's an unstoppable play. Wings don't get down there quick enough.
Okorie gets a screen. Split 2. Okorie went high, couldn't hit, and then a foul. Hilte, I think, shoved Kraft in the back to take us to a timeout. Still a 10-point game. 30 for that man.
Efficient. I mean, 9 field goal attempts, and he's been perfect from 3.
Kerouac out of the timeout. He finishes and 1.
Yeah, how about the play call against the zone out of the timeout? You're talking about Damon Stoudemire. Didn't play against much zone as a pro, and they didn't play any zone when he was at Arizona. So he's learned some basketball. He's paid attention. That's a great high-low out of the timeout. A chance for a 3-point play, and just when you think Stanford's got a little cushion, here's Georgia Tech breathing down your back. And by the way, I don't want to say it too early. They're a perfect 9 for 9 from the free throw line. I knew I'd screw that one up.
Kerouac's a career 0 for 4, now 0 for 5, but he's the man who got the tip to the rebound to a 3. Kraft thought it was in. Rahosi's got the rebound.
Yeah, he knocks that down. Watch out. But Stanford's still got to be efficient here.
Boy, Stanford didn't dodge a bullet. They dodged a nuclear missile.
That would have been huge.
Here's Benny Geeler playing with 3 fouls. He hasn't played a lot. There's a foul. Kerouac wrapped up Rahosi down low.
Not a bad foul. And again, if Rahosi has to shoot free throws, a 33% free throw shooter, that's got to be part of Georgia Tech's game plan. You're not going to let him get to the basket without trying to get some free throws. But it's just amazing that Georgia Tech's playing without 2 of their top big guys, and they're still outscoring Stanford in the paint 36-32. That's a big stat.
And now defending the paint. Kraft got his hand in there, got a takeaway, and here comes Georgia Tech. All night, you think they're out of it. They come right back. Kelly had that strip, got it back. Needs some help. Here's Fleming. Next point's a career high. Stanford knew it. They doubled. Finds Washington. Missed their last few threes. They've had their chances.
Now, those are big, good looks. Wide open for Georgia Tech.
30 points for Okorie.
It'll take a little time maybe, unless he's got to drive.
And he's fouled.
Yeah, and that's, you know, you got the decision to make. You take time off the clock, but you don't want to kill your momentum. And if you're able to get to the line with the Ebuka Okorie, you take those odds any day.
How about the fact, Ben, he's about to take his 172nd free throw of the season.
Yeah, freshman, not afraid of contact. He's more durable than you think. He's a strong player, and he knows how to draw fouls. So what a weapon it has to have Ebuka Okorie on your side.
That works strong. I mean, he's listed at 6'2", 185. You see him in person, he is so much sturdier than you think he is.
Well, he's got a demeanor on him, too. People don't talk about that a lot. He doesn't seem to get rattled. Even when he's having a down game or missing shots, he always feels his next shot's going to go in, or he'll find something else to do. His shot's not going down, he'll get to the line. He'll find his teammates. So he really plays beyond his years as a freshman.
32 for Ebuka Okorie. Dongo barely got that, and then it was taken away. Aiden Kamen, big mitts. It's Okorie in transition. It is 34.
With the left hand, why not? His offhand looks like his dominant hand. You can't tell.
Another ball on the ground. Rahosi got in front of it. Off his knees, he gets it away.
Big play by A.J. Rahosi to take that one away.
So Tech had cut into it, down to 7. Okorie came right back. He's got 32, being chased by 2. He spun into a triple and got fouled, I think, by Kelly.
Yeah, you watch Ebuka Okorie, again, he's, as you mentioned, his strength, but look at his ability to just change his speed, get to the glass. Once he gets to the left, he's good. I mean, he just really sleight of hand. I mean, he shows you the ball, takes it away, tucks it. Then when he's past you, he shows it back again, and just really adept at getting the ball off the glass with his left. But he's really good at drawing fouls.
35. If he makes this one, he'll tie a career high of 36 in the win over North Carolina earlier in January.
But you know how hard it is to score when everybody in the gym, including your opponents, knows you're trying to go for points, yet he still finds a way to do it. That's the sign of a great player. I mean, it's just hard, but he makes it look easier.
It's true. You know it, I know it. We spent all morning talking about it with both coaches. He has 36. Largest Stanford lead of 14. Washington to the corner. Fleming had it blocked. Kamen all over it.
6'10" makes a difference.
9th Stanford block. Ebuka Okorie sitting on a career high, trying to set a new one on the dance. Boy, watch him go. It's Okorie, ripped a pass to the corner. Dent-Smith sets it. Shot clock at 6, it's up, and it's good! Jeremy Dent-Smith!
Why not? That's the Stanford team that's knocked off some big teams this year and had Clemson on the ropes. Huge effort.
Trying to snap a 5-game losing streak. The Stanford Cardinal keep the at-large hopes alive. They have 4 quad 1 wins on the resumes. Chatfield goes with the bank.
Yeah, nice look. You know, I think back at what Damon Stoudemire talked. He said, look, we're just going to make it hard on Okorie. We know he's going to get his points. And by the way, he has made it hard. Okorie makes things look easy, but he's had some tough takes.
Offensive foul. That was a screen. But it is 36 for that man.
Is it easy for Ebuka Okorie? He makes it. Look at that, 4 quad 1s. And so they're still there. They're hanging around. You can't tell them that their season hopes are dashed. They're going to continue to play. And so this is a big win, one at a time.
They were on the bubble in mid-January. They've lost 5 in a row. So there's no question they're not in the tournament fields. Fleming missed and Agarwal's got it. Dent-Smith to the hoop, to one. There's no question that, you know, their tournament hopes they're not in it right now, but they were close against Clemson. They're going to probably win. Oh man, Okorie with a block. They're probably going to win what was a can't lose tonight.
But you can't go back and play what if, because they did have Clemson on the ropes.
Kamen going to the line.
And Clemson is showing you how good they are. They're up at Cal. And that'll be a big win for Clemson as well. Cal's fighting hard to get into playoff picture. They've had some good wins this year, to be sure. But, you know, basketball's a long season. It's you know, you got to look at the entirety of your resume, and you want to be playing your best basketball at the end for a couple reasons. One, you could get at-large bids. Two, you still got the tournament, and anything can happen in a tournament. Every one of these teams are good enough to advance in your own tournament. And sometimes you're playing against teams that know they're in the NCAA tournament, and so they give up some games in the tournament. And so you've got opportunities, and that's why you want to continue to play well.
How fun is Charlotte going to be for the ACC tournament?
That's going to be a monster tournament.
Mustaf into Dent-Smith. Blocking foul.
Jeremy Dent-Smith took a good hit there. He gave up his body, and he's a tough kid. And he'll come out on his own, but he's modeling it off. He's not going to let you know he's hurt. But I've been impressed with Stanford because Georgia Tech came here with an effort tonight, Cooper. I mean, and obviously Kyle Smith knows that. He knew he was going to get Georgia Tech's best shot. He respects the job that David Stoudemire and his staff. Carl Hobbs, a veteran coach, GW, was on the Connecticut staff that won the national tournament as the associate, and then Bonzi Wells, former player at Ball State that I coached against as a player and a former NBA player. So he's got a good staff, and he's, you know, Damon's going to get his team ready. But Kyle Smith and his staff, he got his team ready to play today.
Game they needed, and a game they're going to get.
Well, that's right, and they've earned it. But they you know, basketball is a cumulative game. You want to play well because it's going to affect you usually your next game. There's a certain identity your team has to have. They could have felt bad about the game, that the hangover could have lingered on that loss to, and I asked Kyle, I said, are you guys over that game? He said, we're over it. You know, the guys they're putting it behind them, and they're not saying what could have been. Talked to Jeremy Dent-Smith, had a chance to make a big basket, a couple of their kids today, and they let it go. They said it's on to this game. This game's more important. But here's the trouble that A.J. Rahosi has. He really just struggles for a rhythm. He was a 65% free throw shooter in his last year before he transferred, and just struggled this year at 33. And I think it's kind of gotten in his head that, you know, free throw shooting is so psychological a lot of times.
See it there. He was out early working today.
Yeah, he was.
Three's good. Jaden Mustaf.
You got to feel if Georgia Tech can get their full complement of players back, they're still going to present some problems for some teams in the ACC.
Agarwal burns a timeout. It's also, I mean, these ACC wins.
And so they've got some talent as well, but you just no easy stops in this league.
Ebuka Okorie, by the way, still on 36 points. That's tied for a career high, and he has a look in his eye like he wants another new career high. And he's downhill. Okorie got a new career high. 38.
You read him, Cooper. You look in his eye, and you know that look. And you saw it, and he didn't let you down.
I think everyone in California knew. 38. Kraft not close. Rebound to Young, and Stanford is on its way to a 4th ACC win and on its way to finishing a 5-game losing streak. Agarwal. Young's got it. Boy, Okorie, he wants 40. You could see it. Okorie for 40. He's going to the line with a chance. The whole student section saying it behind us.
Well, you know, it's interesting. In the game not long ago, he was responsible for 40 points, which is a good enough stat to begin with. Now he's responsible for the 40 he's going to get, and his teammates. How about he's probably contributed to about 50 to 60 tonight. That's how good Ebuka Okorie has been this evening against Georgia Tech.
The pride of Nashua, New Hampshire.
Well, he gets these points. You might see somebody at the scorer's table. I think he's proven his point, but the last thing you want to see is him coming down with any type of injury.
12 for 12 from the line, 39 points for Ebuka Okorie.
Or they'll just ride it out, but we'll see. This has been quite a performance. We've been treated to, and here's the sub. Jeremy Dent-Smith will give a curtain call to Ebuka Okorie. What a performance tonight. I'm not supposed to be biased, but I feel like standing up and clapping a little bit. And this is Stanford. I never clap for Stanford. I've never in my life clapped for Stanford, but you got to respect what this young man's done. And by the way, Damon Stoudemire, the competitor he is, a lot of respect for this young man. It takes one to know one.
How about this one? It's the first 40-point game by a Stanford Cardinal since February 7th, 2002. So 24 years ago to the day when Casey Jacobson went for 41.
Against?
We'll get your check.
Yeah, don't make sure it's not Cal. That's all I'm asking you. I don't want to be part of a record. And it might have been, by the way. I've seen Casey go off.
More Donovan Young. 92 for the Stanford Cardinal. 24 years ago to the day, the last Stanford 40-point game. Ebuka Okorie gets it done as Chatfield misses it. Agarwal's got the rebound. And the Stanford Cardinal didn't get their quad one win today, but they may have just gotten their biggest win of the year.
Well, it's a statement. It's your next game, and it's how you played, and it's the way to bounce back after a really tough emotional loss. It was painful to lose to Clemson. They felt like they had that game.
Dent-Smith. Sure, why not?
Well, they can save a few of these, but you know, Georgia Tech will regroup too. You feel bad because they don't have their full complement of players, but you know, this is the nature of the game that you're playing in, and it's a tough league, but you're as good as your next game, so both teams will regroup. But tonight it was all about Stanford and Ebuka Okorie.
40 points for